What's up? What's good? What is happening? WTF Nation Radio. I am one half of the Sports Bar here live, lickety lizive, this Sunday, September the 17th of 2023. Here and present for duty. We have my man over here with the paper bag on his head. Coach is in the building. Coach, let the people know.
What do you hear? What do you say?
Hey, so if y'all couldn't see that, let me zoom this back in a bit. Coach is wearing a brown paper bag with the word Jets on it, but it's spelled out just in the season. And I can imagine that there's a silent F in there at some point where it's just in the effing season.
The F will be loud later in the show.
Yes. Oh, man. All right. Well, hey, y'all. We have a really good show lined up for y'all today. We're going to be talking about a couple of different things here. We're going to bring y'all some sports trivia, some sports quick hits. We're going to take a look at a story in which a mom and son embrace at a football game, and the world had mixed reactions about it, all right? We're also going to be talking about how a track coach pimped his teammates and almost got away with it. Hey, some people needed rent paid. I also found an interesting story in which a former WNBA player and current NBA player were together. They had an incident during their relationship in New York, which New York seems to be the mecca of celebrity people getting arrested, aka Jonathan Majors, right? I want to say that Jonathan Majors, the actor, his incident was up in New York as well. And
wasn't Donald Trump also arrested in New York?
Hey, New York is where everything seems to happen. But in the WNBA player's case, in which she got attacked and it did not look good at all, there was a linkage to another famous athlete and story, and we here at the Sports Bar are going to cover that as well. We're also going to have some updates because, you know, it is the NFL Sunday, all right? And as you can tell by Coach's demeanor, his team didn't necessarily end on a good note today. And we're going to be giving some of the WTF Nation Radio Listeners League fantasy football updates as we get them. So, Coach, before we get into today's show, we like to get the marketing stuff out the way. And I know people don't like this part, all right? But I wouldn't be here without WTF Nation Radio and the rest of the crew. So why don't you let the listeners and viewers know out there who else takes part in this lovely online radio show?
WTF Nation comes to you live 6 nights a week on U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio across Facebook, Twitter, now known as X, Kick, and YouTube. You can check us out every evening except for Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Kick off the week with us on the Sports Bar, coming to you every Sunday. On Monday, it is the Monday edition with Ice, and we've had a rotating set of guest hosts that have been coming on with Ice, talking to you about the world and what's going on and everything about that, except for the fucking New York Jets. And on Tuesday, we bring you Pop Culture Warrior with our man CQ, Angry Elf, and Mad Mike have been rotating as guest hosts on there, and he will talk to you about everything that is happening within the world of pop culture, with the exception of the New York fucking Jets. On Wednesday, we have the Smoke Pit, a great bullshit session between our great friends TZ and Radar, and they're just going to go ahead and talk to you just like it was back in the smoke pits right behind the barracks, and talk to you about absolutely everything. except for the New York fucking Jets. On Thursday, we have Sergeant's Time, where Ice brings to you the breaking stories and the things that matter most within the military and veteran community. And you know what one of those topics is? The New York fucking Jets. It won't be one of them. And on Friday, and not this week because I get paid this week and they already had a show last Friday. So in 2 weeks, you will have Kaz and Pookie, we support you, brother. We know you're going through some tough times. Wish you come back. But on the Friday edition, a week from Friday, they will be back. They'll wrap up the news for the week, and they will not be talking about the New York fucking Jets. Then remember, we come to you live every day of the week, minus Saturday, on U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Kick. I still don't have it out of my system.
Hey, well, you know what you might need to do, Coach? Before we get into the show and get into our first thing here, you might need to crack open the code, man. Do you have it near you?
No.
Okay, then let's get
at 8:35 on Monday. I drank the entire supply of beer that I had for this week, next week, and the next 2 months. After the 5th snap of Aaron Rodgers. The 4th snap was when he hiked the ball. The 5th was his fucking Achilles tendon.
Man, hey, you know what? Zoom in on me, assistant. Here's the thing. The Jets, I have never seen the deflation that has occurred for one team as much as I have with Jets fans. I didn't know I knew a lot of Jets fans. All right. But as the season was starting, you know, that they had Hard Knocks that featured Aaron Rodgers and everything like that. Everybody was like, oh, man, hey, you know, this could be it. This could be it. And then 5 plays later.
4.
Make that 4 plays later. He ends up biting an injury. I almost said biting a bullet. Then I'm like, that's kind of inappropriate. All right.
Yeah.
So, Coach, man, hey, I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain. Now, let's take a look at the comments here before we get into today's show and our first topic. We got Jeremy Daniels said present. Hey, Jeremy Daniels, salute to you as well. We got David Cunningham in the building said, what's cracking, King and Coach? Hey, you've heard Coach's mood already. So this is going to be that kind of show. God happened to be, a.k.a. my boo thing, a.k.a. we are almost 1 year of dating. I appreciate you popping in here as well. All right. We got Heath Barlow in the building said, go Browns. Did the Browns play today? Or do they play?
No, they play tomorrow evening.
Yeah, there's 2 Monday night games tomorrow.
Yes, there is.
This is what I like my weeks to have a whole lot of football in them. So to get 2 Monday night games, thank you, NFL. All right. Oh man, hey, he said rest in peace, DMX, because he is from New York Sun, Brooklyn, Queensbridge. However they say all of that stuff up there. Shout out to DMX and may he rest in peace. Go Red Sox. We got a Red Sox fan? All right. Hey, look, I know that WTF Nation Radio is worldwide here. So there's likely to be fans from all over the place supporting all different kind of teams. But we got Boston Red Sox is in the building as well. And
fuck them too.
Heath, why did you double up on the Go Browns unless you put one on Facebook and one on YouTube? No, you said Go Browns in both. I like it. David said, remember when I said last week in Aaron Rodgers retrust? Sorry, Coach. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He talked about it. It was in the stream. And yeah, it happens.
Our favorite listener is doing me absolutely zero favors right now, Dave. You should not have mentioned that whatsoever. If you value anything whatsoever, those words should never have came out of your mouth on that comment right then and there.
Oh, man. Oh, I have to try to keep from smiling this entire show. Let's get into some sports trivia. Hey, David, you can send it to the actual Kingsmith at gmail.com. The actual Kingsmith, just like how I spelled on the screen, at gmail.com. And I will be looking for it here as we get through our sports trivia. So, Coach, let's get into some sports trivia. This one, it's an easy one. It's a softball one. So this isn't the actual question, but what would you say is the world's most popular sport? And I think we've already covered this on this show.
Oh, it's soccer.
It's soccer. By
a massive
by a large amount. There are the U.S. actually leads in the most soccer stadiums in the world. And it's an easy sport to pick up and play by pretty much anybody if you're built for it. I've shared on here when I was in high school, I had a really good friend that played and he was pretty decent. And I was like, you know what? If he's playing soccer, I'm athletic. I can try out soccer. Man, the warm-up alone was like 5 laps around like a regulation size soccer field, which if y'all have never stepped foot on a real soccer field, it is massive. It's huge. So the fact that those guys and gals are running all up and down that field, hey, props to them and their stamina. I did not make it past day 1 of practice. Couldn't do it.
I get it.
All right. Let's see. So we've established that soccer is the world's most popular sport. What do you think is the world's second most popular sport? So I'm going to ask the question and I'm going to start a timer to give people the opportunity to type it into the chat. Don't Google it, people. All right. I see Coach's answer, but here's the question. What is the second most popular sport in the world on planet Earth? Not Earth, on planet Earth. I'm gonna give 30 seconds and we're gonna come back. I just like that 30-second countdown. I wish I could have the question up there as well. But we have a winner. Ding, ding, ding. It was Heath in the chat, but Coach in our private chat did put up the answer before I even finished it. He knew I could see the smirk as he was typing this, like, yeah, I know this one. And he put it in there. It is cricket. Ding, ding, ding. I need a ding, ding, ding bell sound effect. Hey, can y'all hear this sound effect? Coach?
No, I can't.
You couldn't hear it? Hold on, because I'm going to have to fix that. Because part of my show has to be the sound effects as well. So let's do this. All right, how about now?
Oh, yeah, now I hear it, buddy.
Yeah. All right. Yes. So cricket is the world's second most popular sport by a landslide too. There's approximately 2.5 billion fans and over 30 million registered players that play around the world. All right. Where do you think the most famous cricket venues are played at?
India.
Hey, ding, ding, ding. You are absolutely correct. India?
Yes.
South Africa and New Zealand. All right. But some of the world's most famous cricket players come from India. I would not have known that.
Yep. I am a man of culture, so I did know about that one. But yeah, cricket, obviously, India is also one of the most populous places on earth. And they absolutely do love their cricket over there. I will say that what the heck was there's an actual channel, like it's somehow, I don't know where I don't know anybody who's ever subscribed to it, but there's an actual channel called Willow that's on my cable and all it is cricket. So I mean, if they're more popular on the fact that they've actually got their own damn channel on my cable that plays nothing but cricket and nothing but cricket news, well, you got to be the most popular sport then. At least that's the way I see it.
All right.
Yeah.
He says that he used to spend his summers in India. In my military days, I spent maybe a total of 3 days in India. And do I want to say what it is that I'm going to say? Hey, Indian people, don't come at me for saying this one. But when you first land in India, it is a whole different smell that I have never experienced anywhere, except for maybe like. And you know what?
Except for the toilets over at MetLife Stadium. That's about the best way you can describe the smell of India.
Yes, I like how this show is going today. That is awesome. What is this over here in the corner? I don't need y'all seeing everything that's up behind me. But oh man, hey, even Randy found that one hilarious. Hey, coach is on it today. Hey, I hope that y'all that are viewing and listening are enjoying today's stream, and much to the chagrin of Coach over here, I'm having a blast. That was a really timely and a really good joke. But yeah,
this is karma for me saying that Roll Tide joke last week, isn't it?
What you get, and we're gonna talk about them a little bit later in the show. Oh man, I got spoiled by Alabama's dominance, and they don't look so much dominant anymore. But as we get to NCAA news, NCAA football, we'll bring that up. But yeah, India. If y'all have ever been to India just it's a hard to describe smell. Let me just say that. And India, y'all are a beautiful country. I plan on coming back to visit. So don't save this stream and be like, hey, the actual Keith Smith, I remember what you said on that stream. I'm just saying, y'all need to figure out y'all smell situation over there and get it fixed. All right. Let's see. Randy said, I laugh because I know with zero disrespect, but yes, it is different for sure. Same with Ali Asaling. Yep. And Bagram. See, this is somebody
Ali
that knows. This is somebody that knows. Yes.
Oh man, Ali Asalim smelled like the raw end of Lizzo's freaking thong after a concert.
Everywhere you went.
Not, oh God, everywhere. No. And I thought it was bad enough when I was over. All right, so little military story about me, and I think I might have mentioned the fact that on Thanksgiving in 2002 in Kandahar airfield, myself and everybody else that was on the airfield created the infamous Kandahar poo pond that night due to food poisoning. And I thought that there was a very distinctive smell with that. But Ali Asalim smelt like a frickin' baked asshole in 500-degree weather. I mean, like that was terrible out there. It was, oh my God. I would have rather had Lizzo sit on my face and fart than ever have to worry about having Ali Asalim ever again like that. Okay? That's how bad that place was. And for those of you that never experienced it, well, don't worry about it. In about another 20 years, we'll end up going back over there because that's how these things run in circles.
Man. Hey, yes. Hey, history does seem to find a way to be cyclical. I think that's a word.
Yeah, cyclical.
And that next or I guess it will be two generations from now are going to find themselves right back in there. And this is going to come up in the archive. Somebody's going to be listening to WTF Nation Radio at the National Archive of Records down in DC and bring up the fact that Coach and I both talked about Ali Asalim and Randy and how bad it smelled. Give me 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
All right. It smells like curry in India. No.
Smells like rotten. No,
Smells like what happens when curry
yeah,
comes out of your body.
yeah.
All right. I won't give India any more hate, but yes, cricket is the second most popular sport. Out of curiosity, would you happen to be able to know what 3 and 4 is? It shouldn't be a surprise.
3 I would say is rugby, and 4 I would venture to guess is basketball.
Oh wow.
Basketball's more international.
Okay. According to these stats over here, it is hockey at 3 and tennis at 4.
Hockey.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was only played by Canadians.
Hey, apparently hockey and hockey / ice.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. Because most of the people that do come from the Slavic nations in the old Soviet bloc all like to play hockey.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that. All right.
Yep. All right. Hey,
tennis.
David, I have my email open, man. I'm looking forward to whatever it is that you have to send me. So while we do that, let's go to the next thing. Let's get into some sports quick hits here, real quick. And Coach, I'm going to ask you, over this weekend, were there any interesting sporting news that came out that made you go, huh, that's interesting?
Well, all right. So I know we're gonna probably touch on it, but that Colorado State game, that was kind of my main focus for this weekend. That actually was a really nice game. Kind of liked it. Coach Prime went ahead and showed why he is being interviewed by 60 Minutes right now, on and taking a look at what he's got happening. Great kind of comeback game for them. One other thing, Max Verstappen, his record of 10 consecutive wins over on a Formula One circuit has now been brought up. He had a shit car this weekend over in Singapore, and now he lost the race to Carlos Sainz of Ferrari. So Ferrari finally got on the board for the first time in well over a year in Formula One. And the round of 16 went down to the round of 12 in NASCAR at Bristol last night. The American douchebag, Denny Hamlin, won the race, and Bubba Wallace actually squeaked in on the last person to transfer to the round of 12, and all the racists decided to boo him after that. So that's a fucking bone I gotta pick with NASCAR fans. You racist motherfuckers. Don't try to say you're not racist. I get you don't like freaking. I have heard more boos and more ignorant stupidity when you speak about daggone Bubba Wallace than I have had than before I experienced it coming down south before 9/11. Okay, yeah, fucking ignorant bastards. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
Why do you think that is?
Okay, I honestly think that is because, one, at the center of this, Bubba Wallace does not fit the stereotype or the prototype, does not fit the prototype of a stereotypical NASCAR driver and the ones the fans would get behind.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that because he's African American. I don't think that part race comes into color or race comes into a factor. What it comes down to is the way that he carries himself and kind of the way he drives. Yes, he's won several races. This first race that he won was a rain shortened one. He's won another couple races after that. He is a little bit more well known, not for his driving, but because of who he has. How he talks is not the way that a lot of people have it, and he doesn't have a famous last name. That's reason number one. Number two, and what I think the biggest reason is because I think a lot of people, when that entire news situation happened in 2020, overreacted and got freaking used their ignorant political agenda way around it to politicize the whole thing. Yes, he did that too, but he was never overtly about the Black Lives Matter or end racism now or whatever it is. But he became a figurehead on that. And the Southern redneck, older conservative base and their inbred children that now follow NASCAR, those fans don't like it when somebody who looks like Bubba is saying something bad about the Confederate flag or a noose that he put up on there. And that's how most of those ignorant bastards talk about it. Number 3, and I think this also has to do with the part with Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin is his car owner. Michael Jordan is his car owner. And a lot of people feel that the ride that he's got was given to him for his name recognition only. And I agree a little bit with that. But you're not going to take somebody who's got that much talent, that much name recognition, and not put him into something that's better. Yes, it sounds like a little bit like Danica Patrick, but guess what? Bubba Wallace is a hell of a lot better than Danica Patrick, because all Danica Patrick did was crash the car, cry, bitch, moan, and complain. Okay? Bubba Wallace has won races. He has gotten into some crashes here and there, and he has been a little bit dirty. I can find one example that he did when he ran in front of Kyle Larson and spun him out in Kansas. But other than that, he's not as bad as Danica Patrick. And, you know, the complete ignorance of NASCAR fans will definitely factor all of those in. But more to the fact, and I am serious about this, the older demographic are not accepting of an African American athlete within NASCAR. And there still is the not overt, and I'm not saying overt as in they're not calling him the N-word to his face, but they're going to boo him. They're not going to root for him, and they're going to come up with excuses for any time that he has something good happen to him, or if he's highlighted, they're going to state oh no, the only reason why he's, being stated, there's 12 other people that are more qualified than him, but because he's Bubba Wallace, he's got to be the one in the spotlight. That kind of thing. People hate greatness, but people also hate African American greatness in NASCAR. And that's the honest to God fucking truth.
Man.
And I know I just lost some fucking viewers on it, and I don't give a shit if I did. If that freaking pissed you off and that made you freaking turn this off because you feel that, I brought up the fact that that NASCAR fans don't like Bubba Wallace because he's black, well, then change the fucking channel and don't come back to this show, because there is an honest to God's truth on it. There is zero racism in my daggone blood whatsoever. I am not racist whatsoever, but I have seen it first fucking hand at NASCAR races on the damn stupidity that's called social media, and I've seen it just talking to some of the ignorant rednecks that I've been at NASCAR races beforehand. It's stupid, and it has no place whatsoever.
It's an interesting dynamic because I'm from the South, like he said. I am from Alabama, Roll Tide, and I've been to Talladega. And man, there are more people that aren't than those that are. Yet, I graduated high school in 2002. I went to Talladega somewhere in the late 90s. And at a young age, man, like if you just looked around, 95% of people were having a good time and everything like that. But then you had that other 5% that you could feel it. Just you knew not to go over there being somebody that had some color to their skin because you just weren't going to be accepted. And
yes,
if people just left those folks alone, and just enjoyed what NASCAR had to offer, because NASCAR itself is a great experience. It is so much fun. I'll encourage anybody, even if you don't give two shits about racing, to go check it out. The energy's just, it's hard to describe, but it's a good thing to go and experience in person.
No, I agree. I agree with everything that you're saying there, but I will mention the fact that it is at that part that right now, from what you were looking at in 1997, 1998, whatever it is to now, there, 26, 25 years later, there has been the advent of social media where you see people who kept their opinions to themselves now have a platform to voice that opinion.
Mhm.
And most of the time, the people that should shut up now can't because they have social media to put that on. And because of the polarization that we've had within this country, there are people that are more emboldened to talk about stupid issues and bring up certain things, politicize it in the best way I can say it, because everybody ends up watching the propaganda machines of Fox News, CNN, MSNBC constantly. They're the most popular cable channels, and they integrate that with almost absolutely everything that they see. They don't have any other biases anymore. They're now influenced by the bias of what they intake within the media. So those two factors right there would have made it okay back in 1997 for Bubba to be able to be as successful, but you wouldn't have been hearing about all the stupidity that you were hearing right now. That's where the fucking problem's coming in right now.
Hey, you know what? I've always said this. I am so thankful for social media. I am so thankful for people choosing to express their words and things, and if given a platform and opportunity, because it lets me know who to avoid. It lets me know who to keep my eye on and not turn my back to. And I'm thankful for it. Absolutely.
I get it. Hey, look, well, I'm not shooting down social media. I mean, it's given everybody a type of resource that they need. We're using social media right now to broadcast a sports show, something that I dreamt of doing back when I was a teenager, listening to WFAN, thinking that radio was the only option to do this. Now we come to you every Sunday night for a good 2 hours to talk to everybody about sports and have a conversation like that. And at 16 years old, that's all I wanted to do in my life, was to go into radio and talk about sports on WFAN. Now, granted, I'm not doing that here, but social media gave us that opportunity for us to be able to do it. So there is great things about it. But with those great things come the ignorance, and it comes with people's opinion. It doesn't come with knowledge. And that's where, when we talk about with this show, we're not just here to entertain, we're here to educate. We're trying to pass along the knowledge that we have. We're not trying to pass along opinions. Now, yes, it is my opinion that the two stupidest words in the American language are Roll Tide, and it is my opinion that Zach Wilson should not be playing in the NFL. But I am not giving you any type of knowledge when I am doing that. We're giving you knowledge about a lot of the stuff when we bring up stats, when we bring up history, when we talk about what is actually happening on the field, not stating our opinion. I can tell you that Dak Prescott is a terrible quarterback, but right now his 2-0 record is better than 3/4 of the league.
What? That's true. That is true.
Yep.
David Cunningham said, "We need Mr. Richard Bronco's racing opinion." Ooh, hey, that he is a very fired up and opinionated person. I don't know if he's watching the show right now. I know he supports WTF Nation Radio, and he has supported and he does support us here at the Sports Bar as well. So you know what? Let's get to this next story. But
Let's do it, brother.
before I do, Coach, I was given a picture. This has been verified. It is a verified picture of Aaron Rodgers post surgery, and here it is up on the screen. Oh man, I love the people that watch the show. David, when I saw that in my email, I said, "Oh, I can't wait." And I was trying to figure out a good transition to bring it up on the screen. But yes, this is Aaron Rodgers post surgery once he tore his Achilles or whatever it was.
Those are my running legs. Oh God!
Oh man!
Almighty. Oh my God, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, I give it to you. That was a freaking good one. I have
So,
no problem with that.
yep.
That was a good one, man. That was.
So, Coach, Nick in the chat was agreeing with you and said exactly that's what I'm talking about. I would debate anyone in a fact and knowledge-based manner, but will step away the moment that they start debating using an opinion. Because look, at that point, why what are you wasting your breath for? Okay.
Yeah.
Like the moment you start putting your opinion into something, I'll just door blink you. I'll be like, okay, and said just
I,
like that.
I get it, and I fully support that. And Nick, you are correct on there. Debating them about facts and instead of debating about opinion. That's what's happening with all the media right now. And I'm not talking about the cable news or. And I hate to say this, even in a way, our local news is kind of a little bit more opinion based than it is factual based with journalism. But I'm also talking about sports media.
Hmm.
The shows that we are watching right now on everybody's wondering why ESPN and Fox Sports and all of these cable channels are getting lower and lower ratings. They're laying people off. They're doing all this. Well, it's because it's filled now with talking heads who are giving their opinions that are not based off of fact. You got that schmuck Skip Bayless, who's got Jerry Jones, basically he's got his hog in his mouth. And he's, just a massive talking head that has absolutely zero facts and just talks about, gives hot takes and does whatever. You've got all of these talking heads just giving their opinions based off of whatever their background is and are not giving any type of facts. When ESPN was great, they were giving you the facts about the games. They were giving you the insights of what was actually happening. And then they were giving the opinions of the players. They were trying to find out more about the players. They were interviewing the players. They weren't talking about the players. And it's come like that on sports radio now, where sports radio is nothing but opinionated takes from more talking heads that haven't done anything that state facts. I can go on WFAN right now, and it's an opinion of a bunch of people who honestly couldn't hold a spatula at McDonald's, yet somehow they're qualified to speak on the radio just based off of their sports fandom. None of them have the facts that the old hosts do. And you listen to ESPN radio, same exact thing. Fox Sports even has a radio station. I don't even know who's on that station whatsoever, but I wouldn't listen to it because all it is opinions. And opinions do not need to be debated. Facts need to be debated. And that's where, unfortunately, now the media society has gone to an opinion-based propaganda machine in almost every single facet whatsoever. And that's where, I just don't feel good about it.
All right.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm in a bad fucking mood. I mean, thanks for the update that Miami is beating New England, Dave. Is ahead of New England right now, because at least that brings me a smile to my face that New England's still terrible. I just hope Tyreek Hill has a ruptured Achilles tendon today too, so that this way Miami fans can join in my misery, and on top of that too, I can also win this week in fantasy football.
Yep. So, hey, Dave, thank you. Thanks for keeping the scores. I'm trying to figure out what internet or what source do you have, because I have the game up. Like, if y'all see me looking down, it's because I'm producing, trying to make sure that I'm keeping up with sports stuff. I got stuff over here on this screen, but you were like a whole 40 seconds ahead of the broadcast that I'm watching. So it's like I got a crystal ball into the future, but not really.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. All right. We're going to get set up here and bring up our next topic. But while I do, let's see. All right, here we go. Track coach accused of pimping his players. Okay. And when I looked at this guy, when I first saw the title, I had a lot of questions. And then when I saw a picture of the dude, I'm like, I have more questions. Okay. But this occurred in California, and I'm going to share the screen here. Let me know if y'all can see it. Y'all should be able to see it. Let me change the format. Let's do it this way. All right. So a professor and former track coach at Diablo Valley College in Contra Costa County in California is accused of multiple felony charges, including human trafficking and sexual assault. 39-year-old Kyle Lee Whitmore of Crockett was arrested September 7th for allegedly trafficking 2 women for prostitution. One of the arrests came after one of the victims notified campus authorities, prompting a joint investigation with the sheriff's office. All right. So Whitmore, who you see here on the screen, is facing 2 counts of human trafficking, 2 counts of pandering, 1 count of pimping, because pimping ain't easy, and 4 counts of forcible sexual penetration by a foreign object. Now, I'm trying to figure out a lot of different things here, and this is what I came to. I believe that this guy used his position and influence to find people that were in a bind, needed tuition paid, whatever, and he used the women. And it came to light because he may not have properly, and I'm trying to say this without getting canceled. I don't think he properly paid one of them what he should have. And that's when she decided to go to the authorities and get this man arrested. That's my take on it. That is my take on it. Coach, you heard me read the article. You heard me give my take. What say you?
All right, with your take, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot javelin. So I'll say that right there. What I will say is that this man deserves to be behind bars for the rest of his life if he's done that to impressionable young women. And if that's the case, that he did those things to him and it can be proven that this is done, he deserves to be beaten in the same freaking prison cell as Jerry Sandusky and that guy who, over the doctor over at Michigan State. What a fucking piece of shit human being can do that to daggone impressionable young women. All right. If I would, in the words of Al Pacino from Scent of a Woman, if I was the same man I was 20 years ago, I'd take a fucking flamethrower right to his house. But I can't. I'm too old and I'm too stupid. That being said, there is no room for anything like this in any type of high school, any type of professional sports, obviously, because we're stepping it up on sports. But there should not be anything like this within amateur sports. And it's absolutely terrible that this had to come to light. And if this guy's doing this, I wonder how many more of these sick bastards have come into our education system and are doing the same thing to impressionable women and also impressionable men.
Okay.
Because some other people can be that way as well.
Let's talk about it. Is it any different? Okay, so he's, to me, I'm going to say like the madame. I think he was the facilitator. Is it any different? Oh, I'm sorry.
He was the sugar daddy.
What is the difference for an independent 20-year-old who's, trying to go to Belize and they're a college student and they need their tuition paid and they choose to go that route? What's the difference?
Okay. First, the legal difference, the age of 18. Okay. Let's go with that one right there, because up until the age of 18 federally and, usually 17 signed by a waiver, that's when you're considered an adult. All right. And you are able enough to make your own choices. Yes, I know. We can also go back to that whole thing. Hey, at the age of 18, I can enlist in the military. I can't drink a beer, but I can shoot and die for my country. blah blah blah. We can use that debate on Monday Night Freedom or on the Monday edition or on Sergeant Simon on Thursday. Coming to you live on U.S. Army WTF Nation and WTF Nation Radio across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Kick. But regardless of that, the second thing that I would want to say about that is this: is that you have something that is a given. Now, granted, this guy's at there's something that I'm not going to. I consider it a right, but I also consider it a necessity for the world. Education. This guy is a track coach, and in the scenario that you brought up, which I said I wasn't going to touch with a 10-foot pole or 10-foot, pole vault or whatever, but I will for a moment. This guy is taking care of a privatized education for one of the players or two of the players or whatever. And that person's getting what they consider a fine education and now are being taken advantage of because their parents or that child wants to have that type of education. There is a difference between something that you need versus something that you want. You want to go to your pimp daddy and make your money being a hooker or a John or whatever, and so that you can go down to Belize. That is not a need for life. That is a want. Education, especially in this society, a high school education, is a need. In almost everything, a GED, a good enough diploma, or a high school education is the absolute bare minimum that you need for the majority of the employment jobs at a full-time basis and for quality of life reasons in the entire United States. Our education system might be not the most ideal in the world, but it is a necessity. So to use that kind of necessity that you need in life and to utilize that as a position of power to, promote some type of sexual fantasies and things like that for willing men that want to, satisfy their sexual desires is fucking wrong. And to do that, like I said, to people under the age of 18 and to use and coerce their own bodies and their own minds into doing that for you, you should, like I said, go to prison right next to Jerry Sandusky, and I hope that the broomstick or the daggone plunger stick gets shoved straight up your ass on the first night by some neo-Nazi.
There is a difference, and I asked a question for conversation, but there is definitely indeed a difference in my opinion of being independent versus coerced, sometimes forced, and things like that. So I am going to put on the screen up here the national hotline for human trafficking. Let me get this going. My assistant cannot talk or type fast enough here. But if you or somebody that you know may be a victim of human trafficking, there is a human trafficking hotline. 1-888-373-7888. That number again is 1-888-373-7888. All right. Now,
Hey, Nick, I just want to let you know, I have not drank in quite a long time.
oh, I was like, wait, what is he talking about?
Just read his comment. I haven't drank in a long time.
All right. So that is that story. He's set to be arraigned in 2 days from now. So what's that, Tuesday? On Tuesday.
Yes,
I
Tuesday.
think that throughout the investigation, they had enough to hit him with whatever it was that they hit him with. And apparently it was pretty swift in how they were able to get what they needed to arrest him and get him arraigned. And I'm with you, Coach. I hope that whatever I hope that justice prevails. Let me just say it that way.
Same here.
That justice prevails. Now, before we get to our next topic here, let's bring some humor into the mix. This
All right.
exchange is something that I think that I'm going to start saying whenever I come on to the sports bar. Take a listen.
Intentional grounding, offense number 7. It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here, excuse me. It's a 10-yard penalty and a loss of down. Second down.
That is the best line I've ever heard out of an official. We'll get to the penalty in a minute. He just told Geno Smith, I'm talking to America.
That's what we do here at WTF Nation Radio. Actually, we don't just talk to America. We talk to the world. But I am going to have to say, I have to find a reason to say that line. I'm talking to America here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I 2000% agree with that one. That's a great daggone line.
Yes, a goal of mine before 2023 ends is find a reason to say I am talking to America. Absolutely. All right, let's see. Next story that we're going to get into. I find this one to be interesting. Okay.
All right.
So, before anything came out about this story, I saw the video with no context, no audio, no anything, and it looked like a mom jumping into the arms of her bigger son. And people quite quickly made some assumptions. It was like, wait, what's going on? Because this looked like, and I'm going to raise my hand and do air quotes, like a typical Valley Girl type mom. And when you see it, I don't know, something about it makes you go, hold up, what is going on here? All right. So I want to pose the question to the viewers and listeners out there. Was there anything wrong? And let's put that up on the screen. Boom. So that's how we're going to introduce this. Okay. And let's see. I'm gonna bring up the article here and we are gonna get into it. Okay. So this article is from Unilad. All right. And actually, I'm going to show off her Instagram page first. So this lady, Amber Lund, mom of 1, single, which that recently just got updated. Then she puts unicorn, a physician's assistant who's a hormone specialist, and she has or works at a clinic. Her Instagram followers jumped. And I'm going to share the screen here to show y'all who we are talking about here. So this is the lady right here. All right. This particular Instagram post of her and her son got shared, and we're going to watch the video as soon as I can find it. It is this one right here. Here we go. 177,000 hearts, 6,924 comments. Let's take a look. So all right, so I don't know if y'all could hear the audio in it, but her son had just won the game, and look how she's embraced him. She said, let me wrap you in my mom embrace. All right. And some people took into account, like, you know, the total package of everything, and just how her son's bigger than her, right? She maybe doesn't look to be no taller than 5, maybe 5'3", 5'3", 5'4". And before the picture in the video went viral, she said, this boy will forever and always have my entire heart. Somebody named Gina captured the end of this moment, and I'm so grateful. When I walked up to hug my baby boy after his game, he immediately picked me up and held me. It may have been 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. I have no idea. But in this moment, time stood still. I honestly don't know what I did to deserve you. I mean, you had sex biologically. That's what happens when kids are brought here. But I am thankful every second of every single day for you. Now, the comments were wild on this one. Okay. And I believe a lot of them might have gotten cleaned up here. But this person, Sammy Nicole, said, I've never seen a football mom wear high heels to a football game. My son's been playing football for 12 years. Not once have I worn heels to his football game or seen another mom wearing heels or dressed like she does to a teenager's football game. Now, this is giving California to me. Okay. I don't know why, it just does. And then other people are saying, I don't think anyone has an issue with your son picking you up. It's just that it appears that you're straddling your son. You're also dressed pretty sexy for a high school football game. You're a very good looking young mom with a son in high school. You look amazing. Look like you work hard for your physique. Debatable, but all right. I'm not gonna go there. You look amazing. All this and that, to each their own. Okay. And then there were a lot of people supporting things like that. And I think we've talked about it on this show too. Ladies typically will get judged by what they wear. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it is what it is, but it is what it is. I think if she's dressed differently and this happens, this doesn't go viral. What say you, Coach?
I'd like you to turn off the video right now and just scroll down a little bit on her Instagram timeline. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. Go back up to that one with the boat. So
a whole pick of flatbacks.
Hmm.
Flatback supreme.
All right. So as I'm seeing all of this, and whoa, wait a minute. Hold on one second there. Who's that girl she's hugging right there? Yeah. Okay.
That's her sister, apparently.
Oh,
according to
that's
this.
her.
According to this. Could be the sister.
Okay. Yay. Hooray. All right. Look, you could be picked up by your mother and putting the video up right there and showing all that. But as I am looking through your timeline right here, I am seeing three things. I'm seeing your son, I'm seeing your ass, and I'm seeing your boobs. All right. Now, granted, I understand that. And the comment of is she was wearing a baggy shirt or whatever, yeah, that'd be great. And look, ladies, I'd understand if you got a killer body like that. Hey, if you want to flaunt it, go right ahead. But don't think that you're not going to be up for interpretation when you are posting yourself in a thong on the back of a daggone boat trying to pull stuff up like that. All right, look. And as you go down further and further, you see, oh, wait, never mind. I take that back. She's showing off more skin the higher up it goes down on timeline.
I mean,
all right.
Yeah, if you take a look, a lot of her earlier stuff. Here we go.
Hey, let me ask you something. How does your son feel about this? How does your son feel that his mama is showing off her ass on Instagram? I'm not talking about OnlyFans, who, we're talking about Instagrams where you just now showed your pokies right there, where you're now enjoying your whatever kind of body you got, whether it be in plastic surgery or hormone therapy or freaking, I don't care if you're getting a colonic from a damn Kardashian or a shit implant or whatever fecal transplant it is. Look, you are posing into some type of, oh, look at me, I'm cute poses. Oh, look at how hard I work out my glutes poses. And you're wearing clothes that, yeah, granted in California are kind of the normal, but the attention wasn't on your boy. It was on you and your boy. You are doing these things to get attention for yourself. You're not doing anything to get attention for your boy. And if you are, then that's some fucked up California thinking right there. Because, I mean, only people in California think that that would be the way to go ahead and do it. I state that to state this. Credibility in a lot of things deal with what you share and what you do publicly. And yes, granted, social media is not reality, but social media is a glimpse into reality of how you think about it. That's why on my social media, I am very selective about what I share, about what I do, and about what I say on there. With the exception of this is my only real outlet in which I can kind of cut loose and talk about, things that are really bothering me and show that type of anger. I'm not out here showing up my daggone beer belly in front of everybody because I know that there's people who have, dad bod fetishes. I'm not showing, if I was a woman, I wouldn't be starting up an OnlyFans, to show off my big ass man tits, just so I can raise money for this show or anything like that. I don't do those types of things. I don't think highly of people who are doing this, but as I look through her Instagram page, I am seeing a lot of look at me, I'm pretty, look at me, I'm the attention, look at me and think of me in a way that gurgles your loins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I mean, what's the
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say this. I really am not caring whatsoever about your high heels, your freaking your packing system right there. What I'm looking at right there is the fact that your inner thigh meat is basically being shown off right to the cat that's underneath that seat right there. Okay. And everybody is basically turned their heads to the right and are trying to look up on that picture to see if they see more. Oh, wait a second. Look where she's posting from.
I saw that. That was a surprise to me. So I'm curious now if that's where. Well, no, because you know what, she has the business. So
let's see where her business is.
Let's take a look.
Oh, wait a minute.
Just put this up.
Peptides, sexual health and wellness.
Okay.
Oh, I see. And a 385 area code, which, really, the 385 area code, I know in the world of cell phones, I could still have a Hawaii number and it would be okay. But I also want to look at her profile picture. Is that an S&M whip that she's got right there in her pantsuit and titty bra right in front of there?
You know what? Initially, I thought it was too, and I think I can zoom in. It is not. It's a stethoscope.
Oh, it's a stethoscope.
It's
okay.
A stethoscope. I zoomed in enough that
I don't know many physician's assistants that are going to wear a pantsuit and a bra. Just saying.
It's
okay.
We bring this up to highlight this, and Coach and I didn't talk about this right before, but Coach said it, and David Cunningham nailed it in the chat too. There's a difference between people that seek attention, all right, and they're quote unquote attention whores, and that's not gender specific. I think that falls within you as a male, female, or whatever genders are out there today. If you're somebody that you do certain things to seek attention, you're called an attention whore. It's a USA colloquialism. I don't know if that's the right word.
She's an attention hua.
Yep.
Attention hua.
And
yeah. I said hua, H-U-A, just like Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman. Hua.
Yep. So personally, I don't really find this wrong, but what it is just, it's now you're putting this young man in a position where now he has to defend himself. Hey, but she took her 15 minutes of fame and she's launching this bad boy. Her followers skyrocketed because of it. She created this Instagram post for this business, even though it has no post yet. And hey, here's to hoping that it draws, traffic to her business. But this was a follow-up post that came out regarding a conversation between her son and a friend, where it was saying, for real, I'm sorry your mom had to go through that. People were telling me terrible stuff, and I just want to hear the truth from the source. And the son goes, the truth about what? And whoever this person that wrote the son said nothing really, but about the situation, but there was never a situation to begin with. And he starts out by saying, look, my mom is my hero. I was just giving her a hug after the game, and I did pick her up. She did not jump on me. My mom has been the only person there for me my whole life. I grew up with an alcoholic dad who would just come and go when he wanted. He was great when he was sober, but when he wasn't, it was a dark place. My dad ended up unaliving himself last year. And this year, I changed my number to 44 because it was his unalive date. It was her first time seeing me wear it in person. So obviously she was very emotional, and so was I. All it was a big hug from me to her. So that's the son's response to a friend. And I guess he sent it to his mom, or maybe his mom became aware of it and asked him for it. And she decided to post it here. To where even so the son is in here on Facebook. Let's see. He says he has 0 posts. So I don't know if he hid all of his original posts, or because look, that's what happens when you go viral, right? People will come and try to dig up stuff,
Well,
go and find out things about you.
let's put this up here. He had to put his own life and adjust his posts because people were looking at his mother getting attention for whatever the hell she's doing. That would be, as like for me, going on making ridiculous posts, making ridiculous statements, and then having my daughter in East Carolina University getting approached about something that I did on the internet and having to defend me as her father.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? As a parent, and I'm just saying this, maybe it's because of how I grew up or how old I am, and maybe I'm not hip to a younger generation. Like I don't know whether she's a millennial or she looks like she's in her mid 30s
it's hard
with a high school kid. I'm not looking to get myself the attention that will bring my family a place that they would have to defend me, or a place that I would bring shame upon them.
Thank you.
That's just me.
Thank you.
That's just me.
Thank you. That's something that I'm constantly aware of. Like it's ingrained in me whenever I go out, whenever I'm on live. Okay. And I don't just do the sports part. I have my own personal vlog. I talk about dating and relationships on somebody else's platform. Me and my girlfriend, we have our own live stream as well. I am aware of the stuff that I put out there and how it doesn't just affect me, but everybody in my orbit. Everybody.
You know what? And that's true. That's true. And I bring this up to say a couple other things. As far as what we do here on this station, all right, you are the only real person. I'm saying this truthfully because even though your name, your government name is King Smith.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it does sound like a stage name. It does sound like it's a nickname. And hey, look, to each their own. But you have also made a brand out of it. On this station, we have CQ, we have Radar, TZ, Spanky, Kaz, Pokey, Ice, myself. How many of them do you know their real names? How many people that are out here in our audience know our real names?
I believe I might be the only one who shared mine publicly.
Yeah, you're the only one who shared it publicly, and to you, congrats for that. But what we say here, because we have families and things like that, we don't. There are the scum of the earth type of people that have nothing else better to do than to sit on social media in their deep, dark basement, naked, eating Cheetos on a beanbag chair, that want to look at what we do and then try to out us or report on us like there's some type of big shot, hating on whatever the hell we say and using what we say against us and misconstruing it to make us defend it. Not only that, but to our family. Let me give you a freaking great example. Okay. And this is the honest to God's truth. Before coming here to U.S. Army WTF Moments, I had my own show. All right. It was a professional wrestling show called The Nation Show. On that show, I had a guy, and I will actually give you his name. And for you Howard Stern fans, you might recognize his name. This is Imran Khan. His name, he goes by Hansy. All right. Hansy and I, over the internet, he started saying some stupid bullshit about us and about the people, calling people that were part of the show a whore, whores, things like that. And I fucking went off on that motherfucker. Okay. I banned him from everything that we were doing. I ripped him a new asshole. I even went on a freaking national radio show and called the motherfucker out. This is during the midst of COVID. You know what that cocksucker did? That cocksucker took a clip of one of my shows, DM'd my wife's business, and said, I want to let you know about all the shit your husband is doing behind your back, and started sending that. My wife gets into a conversation with him and says, who the fuck are you? All right. He starts cursing my wife out and saying, how come you can defend this asshole? Your husband is a PTSD psychopath who should have killed himself like the other suicides in the military.
Wow.
Now, I'm never going up to Toronto or Canada or wherever the hell Imran Khan is, Hansy, that fat fuck. I'm never going to go up to Canada. I'm never going to be in that area. But if I ever cross that motherfucker, he will not have teeth to eat anymore. He's going to lose about 100 pounds by the time he gets his dentures up there in Canada and their health care. But that's the kind of people that deal with this. That woman had to deal with that after that post, but she brought that upon herself. And her son is now getting people commenting about her putting stuff out like that. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why we protect ourselves. And that's the reason why we ensure that what we say, you know, it does have a veil of it, but we try to keep the integrity out and don't say those stupid things where we're just getting nothing but attention. We're here for the WTF Nation Radio. We're here for our veterans, our supporters, our military, so that we can release from the time to time and talk about the topics that we want to, whether it be in sports, politics, pop culture, just bullshitting, or wrapping it up on Friday Night Freedom. That comes to you not this week, but next Friday on WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments. Jesus. Hey, Ice, by the way, you need to pay me up for all these plugs I'm doing. Anyway.
All right.
Anyway, but that's the reason why we do this stuff like that. And I feel bad for the kid, because that kid should never have been put into that freaking position just because the mother wants to show her tits and ass on a freaking Instagram page and then bring her into it. I'm so glad that she's the only person that has been there for him. And he had a shit growing up. A lot of people did. I understand that, but there's a time where you would have to say, Ma, you need to slow down on this because it's making it more difficult for me. And that's the part about being a man that things need to have happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to Richard Bronco in the building. Hey, you missed us talking about racing earlier in the show, but salute to you for popping in and saying what's up. He said, what do you hear? What do you say? I love it. I love it. And yes, so everybody here at WTF Nation Radio has a call sign.
I didn't say. Wait, hold on, Heath. I did not say that all Southern people are rednecks and have inbred children. I said the majority of NASCAR fans that are in the South
Oh,
are
speaking of earlier,
rednecks
speaking
and
of
have
earlier.
inbred children. And I said the inbred children thing had actually, I believe the inbred children thing didn't have to do with NASCAR. That was the people who scream "Roll Tide" randomly. I said randomly,
Hey,
not like in the mid. Look, you have to be prompted to utter those two words. There are people who will just say "Roll Tide," like just out of hey, I'm going down to a beer. Roll Tide.
it can be a Southern greeting, especially around football season, or an Alabama greeting, I should say. One of these days, hey Michelle, if you still watching, baby, I'm sorry. One of these days, she gonna pull up. I'm gonna embrace her with a hug and a kiss, and I'm just gonna say roll tide.
And Michelle, I hope you knee him right in the testicles.
Oh man! Oh look!
Oh, you
Look who we
motherfucker! You motherfucker! You fucking had to come in here.
CQ. If you haven't been watching the show, it started off great. Coach set the tone for how his attitude was going to be the entire show.
All right,
It,
all right.
it was going good, and you had to come in here and F it up.
CQ, you have just made this show go off the rails because I am about to go on a rant. All right. I am saying this right freaking now. The Giants, great game, great comeback against the Cardinals. All right. Absolutely outstanding. Down 21 points. They came back to win it. After I tuned out of the Giants game because there was a glimmer of hope that I thought that the Jets would mount some type of second half comeback in the game against Dallas, but obviously they didn't. But they did score 10 points more than the New York Giants did against Dallas's defense. That being said, that Dallas game was pretty good. It showed me that Daniel Jones, after week one, you should not be judging anybody. I feel bad for Saquon Barkley and anybody who has them on his team, because you're going to have to put him on the injured list after that sprain. But I'm glad that the Giants are 1-1. But I am absolutely pissed off right now that the Jets are 1-1. And for Zach Wilson, I have to.
Uh-oh. It looks like the internet decided to cut Coach off.
Want me to talk about Zach Wilson?
They tried to clip you, Coach. They tried to clip you.
Try to clip me. CQ is pulling the plug on me right now because of Zach Wilson. But I need to say something about Zach Wilson, okay? Zach Wilson, there are two sets of three letters that I need you to listen to because I know that after you're sitting in your hotel room, sulking it up, sitting next to, Cougar Mom, Amy Lund, over there, and her girls that are going to be on the boats because that's what you're into, all the MILFs. Let me say this as you're watching our show and banging all those MILFs. There are two sets of three letters that you need to know. Actually, three sets of three letters, okay? The first set of three letters is NFL, and it's not the National Football League. It stands for not for long, which is what is going to happen with your career after this season. You got lucky that Aaron Rodgers snapped his daggone Achilles tendon like a neck gets snapped after you drop from 8,000 feet in the air with no parachute. Okay, that's the only freaking reason why you were playing in the game is because of the goddamn turf. Freaking MetLife Stadium sucks ass, and you're slippery as hell. And Aaron Rodgers, for 5 fucking glorious minutes, was a New York Jets starting quarterback. But now you're that, but not for long, because at the end of this year, you're fucking gone. Now, my second set of three letters for you is XFL, which should be your newest employee, because how you played this game is definitely up to par in the XFL, but not in the NFL.
Okay, go over there and go play with the Las Vegas Losers, the Birmingham Bearbacks, or, the San Antonio Suck My Balls, because that is the league that you should be playing in, the XFL. And if the XFL isn't up to your standard, then the third set of letters would be much better for you, and that's the CFL, the Canadian Football League. Okay, much like your alma mater over at BYU in Utah, they're the only African American people that you will see up there are athletes, just like it is over at BYU, just in the same way it is up in Canada. You should feel at home up there. Okay, and there's also absolutely nothing, just like it is over there at BYU in Utah. Okay, and on top of that, too, you also get to get paid in monopoly money in Canada, which is what the Jets should be paying you after that performance that you gave today and the performance that you've had over the past 2 years as the New York Jets quarterback. Zach Wilson, go to Canada. Go play in the XFL. But do me a favor. Never again call yourself the New York Jets quarterback after this season, because you're an absolute embarrassment to this entire franchise.
Oh, man. Hey.
Thank you, CQ.
CQ, I appreciate you popping up. But hey, we're going to give CQ some smoke a little bit later in today's show, because your boy is about to be Owen here for our fantasy football. All right. He said,
I didn't even
tell us
bring
how you
that
really
up, yeah.
feel, coach.
Oh, God almighty.
You don't want that tonight.
No,
you don't want
not
that
tonight. Not tonight. Not tonight. Not tonight. And you know what? I said this on Monday night to every person in that group, in our host group. In 3 weeks, and with the way it's going, it will be in 3 weeks or 2 weeks from now. So 2 weeks from now, everybody needs to listen to the Sports Bar. Okay? Everybody, in 2 weeks, listen to it. Because if the Jets are 1-3, I am, for the first time ever on the airwaves, going to have my annual meltdown. Every year, depends on what week it is, because I'm a Jet fan, I have a meltdown. Now, I like to reserve it for about week 6. If I get it to week 8, week 9, week 10, that's normal. If I am doing this within the first 4 games of the year, it's fucking epic. But every year since I have been on Facebook, I have had my New York Jets rant. And it's the same rant every year. Copy, paste. 14 years I've been on this fucking platform. And I've had this rant. And week 4, against the New England fucking Patriots, if the Jets are 1-3, I am going to have a fucking meltdown. So be ready. 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now, on what is it, October 7th or hold on, wait a minute. No, it'll be October 1st. It'll be October 1st. On October 1st, if the Jets are 1-3, I will have an absolute meltdown on air. Absolute meltdown.
That and it will
and it might be, yeah, it might actually be. It might be.
That might be the only thing that we got going on.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
because by that time, Bama's going to lose the other 2 games.
You had to go there. CQ said we need clips of audio years past. That compilation I think would be hilarious, Coach. Please
It
send me
hasn't been
that.
audio. It's been text. So I'm bringing it to audio this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That is dope. Like I'm imagining certain music that and then just boom, and then the boom, and then each year boom.
Yes.
Oh man, it sounded better in my head. David Cunningham said, Coach, your Jets need to negotiate with the Steelers to get the Pittsburgh Steelers backup quarterback Mason Rudolph as their quarterback because the Steelers aren't going to be playing them this year. Do you know who Mason Rudolph is? And if so, what do you think about him?
I know who Mason Rudolph is, and I know that they're trying to get that kid from Pitt, Plunkett, Fuckett, don't know what his last name is. I know that they're really trying to pull him up on that one. Mason Rudolph is a very serviceable quarterback. I know that the Jets have been in talks now with Carson Wentz as well as Phillip Rivers about possibly coming back, and each one of them have realized that the Jets are fucking cursed, so they don't want to be cursed either. I think Mason Rudolph would be a great serviceable quarterback to get the team to the end of the year, but as a Jet fan, I just want to say that if they lose every game for the rest of the year, I will be happy because that means that they will get the first pick in the NFL draft. Unlike years past, where that fucking moron Adam Gase won a fucking game and didn't suck enough to get Trevor Lawrence, but got Zach Wilson instead, or other years where they could have had the number one draft pick and they could have lost, but they decided to win some meaningless games at the end, screw up their draft picks, and not be able to draft the best person. Now, this year, you have an absolute glaring need for offensive linemen. And I don't care whether it's a guard, a tackle, a center. I need somebody. All Jets fans are dying for everybody to pick up offensive line help. So it doesn't matter who the hell it is. It could be it could be the ghost of Tony Munoz. It could be freaking Kevin Mawai, or it could be Kevin Mawai and Nick Mangold's love child. I don't care who it is. Need the best offensive linemen in the draft as well as free agency to finally protect the fucking quarterbacks. Please suck for the rest of the year so that the draft picks are good enough that you can draft a decent offensive line. Please, for the love of God.
All right. Now we're going to get through our next segment of the show. And while our producers are loading that up, let's give you a clip. Everybody's talking about
I'm going to have an
Prime.
aneurysm.
Everybody's talking about Coach Prime, right? And how they would like to play for Coach Prime. But before Coach Prime, there was a coach by the name of Bob Green who coached the Montana Tech Diggers. All right. Likely have never heard of Bob Green or have heard of that team before. But let me tell you, this guy has had some quotables. All right. Take a look at what Coach Bob Green has said over the past couple of years over the news.
Our football team was like the kid that plays second French horn in the school band. We got to play better. That's a double-edged sword, It's kind of like watching your mother-in-law go off a cliff in a Cadillac. You got mixed feelings. He's like that black lab on the first day of pheasant hunting season. He was pulling at the chain. We're kind of like a woodpecker in a petrified forest. Just keep busy and look for opportunities. I got a short memory, just like when I was in the third grade. 2 of the best years of my life. Some aspects look like we're really ready to play. A couple of other aspects look like we just got off Willie Nelson's tour bus. All the calls I made on fourth down all those years, you know what my favorite fourth down call was?
What?
Punt. It was the most successful play we had.
And that guy's got some quotables, don't he?
All right.
Man.
As I kid you not, as I literally control my nosebleed, I was trying not to laugh at some of those coach quotes. Those are awesome quotes. There was the first head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I can't remember his name, but the Bucs were like 0-12-1 in that season, or 0-13-1. And he had a quote at the end of the game that somebody asked him, "What do you think of your team's execution?" And he said, "I'm all for it." This guy would have reminded me of that coach, and this guy is freaking great. I am so glad that he is able to bring that shit.
Yes.
You know what my favorite fourth quarter call was? Or fourth down call was?
Punt.
Punt. It was the
Most
only
successful
thing.
play I've ever read. Something about his delivery too. I was like, yo, I've never thought about it that way.
He sounds like a coach in every high school football movie that has come out between 1980 and 2005. That is a quote machine right there. My God.
I've got a real short memory, just like when I was in the 3rd grade. 2 of the best years of my life. Shout out to Bob Green, man. This was an actual coach. Before he got to Montana Tech, they sucked. When he got there, they ended up having a winning record, won a couple of conference championships, and but never won a NAIA championship. Now, Bob Green has a connection to the military. He enlisted following his graduation at Lincoln Southeast High School in Lincoln, Nebraska, 1968, enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps and served 2 years in Vietnam. He's received basic decoration for his service, including the National Defense Service Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, and Combat Action Ribbon. Upon his release from the Marine Corps, he attended college at the University of Nebraska at Kearney for 4 years, where he played defensive back. After he graduated, he stayed on as an student assistant coach and began his coaching career. So shout out to Coach Bob Green, USMC veteran. I actually, as I was going to bring up that segment, I did not know he was a military veteran until I was reading about his background.
That's awesome. We got to have him on the show.
I would love
to get him on the show. Coach, I need some more coach quotes, and I think that's the guy I need the best coach quotes for.
Absolutely. And as of 2023, he is the longest tenured and winning coach in Montana Tech history.
Now, do you NAIA? That is a collegiate level for those of you that don't know. And do you know what NAIA stands for?
No, I do not. Please tell me.
No academic information available.
Nope, wrong sound effect.
Oh no, that was a good one. I like that. I like the running one. That was a good one.
All right. Oh man. Ooh, we have gone with time. Let's go over our fantasy football updates for the WTF Nation Radio Listener League, and then we're going to close out with the main story involving Kevin Porter and his girlfriend. So let's get to it. Fantasy football, WTF Nation Radio, fantasy football news updates. I like the little stuff that I get to put together.
That's
like
a nice one, man. I like that one.
Thank you.
We got to somehow get that whole cause thing that's on the other shows, like WTF Nation Radio, and the voices that are on there are not authorized and do not express the consent, interest, blah 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 blah. We got to get that one up on there too.
Yeah, I can do that. I've just been lazy about it.
It's not a problem,
but I can certainly.
We're the bastard stepchildren of the show, you know.
Yeah. Hey,
we still have the highest viewed freaking video of the year for everybody. So
yeah, hey, we're the technically I think we're still the infant show, right? Meaning that was there anybody else that came on after us?
Radar. Radar and TZ came on I think the same week that we debuted, or maybe a couple weeks there, but Radar obviously was part of with Pop Culture Warrior, and TZ I know was doing other things before that. I wasn't sure if she was on. I know she guest hosted like I did when we first came on board. So
all right. So let's get into showing the updates for the 2023 WTF Nation Radio's Listeners League. Your boy should come out with his second win, as I have 3 players in play. One player in play now, which is the Dolphins kicker, as their almost at halftime. The Dolphins are leading the Patriots 10-3. My kicker has 4 points, and I still have Miles Sanders, Najee Harris, and quarterback Deshaun Watson. Go Browns! Hey, I'm a Browns fan now. Go Browns! So that
Same thing here.
Yep, so that I could possibly beat Josh Wick, aka Show Me Your TDs, and be one of the undefeated teams left. Moving over to station host Mad Mike. Mad Mike is going to pull off his first win. As his score is a final score, ESPN is predicting a 7% chance that Kyle McCandless, and how do I pronounce this right? You said it's a
Seance.
yes.
Yeah, a
As a
seance.
seance. I mean, look, he put up people. Look, he has 16 points by the Cowboys defense, but the Buccaneers against Chicago ended up scoring as well and put up 19 points. When you get 19 points from a defense, anywhere 15 and above, that's a pretty good fantasy week for you, assuming everybody else averages at least a touchdown.
And he's going to need Hayden Hurst to have like a freaking Tony Gonzalez and Gronk game, combined in order to come back on. So Man Mike's going to get the win that on the tomorrow.
Yep. The only thing that I'm going to give a seance gruff about is the fact that I don't know how you have Nico Collins on your bench and play Kendrick Bourne in favor of Nico Collins. I saw that and was like, that was the wrong move well before kickoff. And I might have covered it on my live stream yesterday. I did a live stream on just the Sports Bars Facebook page and our Kick channel, just kind of talking about my fantasy football week 2 outlooks for this league. And I want to say I talked about that, and the fact that you didn't put Nico up here in the flex might be what cost you that win, player.
Yeah, I think so too. Yep.
I
know. Yeah.
Hey, Matt Mike had all of the right people with the exception of and I said this. I said it on the stream yesterday. You need to move out Jacoby Myers because he was already listed as being out on Saturday. He didn't do it, and he's still gonna F around and win.
Yep. I kind of know a little bit about that.
Do you want to talk about your matchup between Tim Hinkle and yourself? And
yeah. So of course, as you're looking at it right now, I got the late news about Jacoby Myers. Wait, hold on. No, excuse me. Let me go to mine. I'm on because I got a big fat goose egg on mine, and that came from Aaron Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I completely forgot to pull him out, but even if I did, I would have either pulled up either Antonio Gibson or it would have ended up being Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook would have gotten me jack shit today, and I probably would have ended up going there. So even on a 0.2 point difference, I'm not doing that bad. So I've got a couple things that I do need to kind of address. Number one, Trevor Lawrence today. I watched the whole game, and all right, now we're in week 2 of the season. I thought that Trevor Lawrence is going to start having his little, welcome to the NFL and breakout kind of year. Oh man, that Kansas City defense today, they were giving him fits, but on top of that, his daggone wide receivers don't know how to catch a ball in the end zone whatsoever. I saw it 3 separate times where they had the touchdown and they could not get their feet in bounds. And that is something that at the professional level, they have to work on that type of, going out of the back of the end zone when making a catch. Trevor Lawrence has to hit those books and hit those plays and hit the practice of your wide receivers scoring in the end zone and not throwing it through them or throwing it over them, but putting it in a position where they're able to catch it and not get out of bounds. I blame the wide receivers and Trevor Lawrence on that one, and he had a bad game today. Jalen Hurts, I'm going to be happy for WP34, Tim Hinckley. He had a great game today. I don't take anything back about as far as anybody else that I had other than Aaron Jones, and I'm going to be pulling for Nick Chubb to have a big game tomorrow because as it stands right now, I am down 11 And I'm hoping Tyreek Hill doesn't have that much going else over on the rest of the game, even though it looks like he just scored a touchdown. And I'll be damned. No, yes, he just did. So that's what ended up happening. It's now 17-3 New England with about 11 or 17-3 Miami over New England with about 11 seconds in the second quarter. So I need Nick Chubb to have me a good game tomorrow. But if that's the case, that's what screwed me over is Trevor Lawrence this week.
Yep. You were doing all right until because I saw the update happen right here on the screen over on the right hand side where it says NFL scoreboard, and then I looked over and realized that Mr. Hinkle, which that's his actual name. I know him. Shout out to Tim. He had Tyreek Hill, and I said, "Ooh," and that changed your chance to win from 54%, which was favorable, to 28%. And
I know.
And I'm actually kind of with you. If I would have saw that news, I would have had Chubb as RB1. I might have actually played Cook over Antonio Gibson and saw that 0.2 and just been mad as hell.
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing given the roster that you had and the people who were available in free agency. But all right, man. Well, hey,
I gotta get better on that one. It's killing me.
It's looking like you might be 1-1, which let's see. We still have half of the league are could be also going into week 2-0 as well. When we go through and look at the rest real quick, Annika still hasn't taken herself on auto. It's not gonna matter. As Team Radar put up monster points everywhere except for RB. What do you say? RB1, RB2. Kyren Williams, I think, is a surprise here. 2 total touchdowns. It was 1 run, 1 pass. I don't think Cam Akers. I think Cam Akers had a majority of the carries. Let me actually go look now. Did Cam have a majority of the carries, but Kyren was the person that ended up getting in the end zone? Let's take a look. Who am I looking for?
And Annika kept Breece Hall in the game, and Breece Hall didn't do him any favors. Go fucking figure, because he's you picked a New York Jet, and that's what happens when you pick a freaking New York Jet.
Man, I'm trying to find the score. There we are. All right, there we are right here. So when I go and bring up box scores, I'm not showing this on the screen. Yeah, Cam Akers. Was Cam in the game? Cam Akers didn't record a single touch.
May not have been in the game today. Oh, that's good.
Wow. And hey, the Rams almost looked like they were going to pull it off against the San Francisco 49ers, but the 49ers took it 20-3. But in fanny relevance, Kyren Williams is that pickup that people drafted in probably like round 13 that might be paying off. All right. So shout out to Team Radar for that pickup. All right. Steaming chocolate. Ooh, this one might come down to a sweat. It's close. They each have one person left to play. Let's see.
The Saints.
Glenn has Jamal Williams versus the Saints defense on the other side. Oh, man. Ooh. And when you're staring at the bench, let's see. Having Brian Robinson from Washington with damn near 29 points sitting on the bench definitely doesn't make you happy one bit.
Yep. I definitely feel bad about him, especially with his wide receivers. But nobody would have thought that Washington would have ended up being in the position that they're in and having a decent group of games on there too. Shit, even looking at Geno Smith versus Kirk Cousins, it could have had a little 5-point buffer in there, and then everything would have been a-okay. But it's going to be something. Tomorrow night's game over there between Glenn and Fred, they're going to be wanting to look at. They're definitely going to be tuned into that game, and both of them will be rooting for the what's it called, for New Orleans, but they're going to be rooting for him in 2 separate instances. One's going to be rooting on offense, the other's going to be rooting on defense. So,
yep.
That's what fantasy football does. That's what fantasy football does for you. You end up you end up at a point right there where you have somebody who's running, against your defense, and you're like, well, I hope he has a good game, but I hope the quarterback sucks so that my defense gets, gets all the gets some points on there, and that my running game gets bad or something. You never want to have your D going against your quarterback, which is what I ended up having last week. I didn't want to have my backup D or my permanent defense going up against my quarterback, even though he was on the bench, and it was fucking Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, I'm going to show you a beautiful thing. This is so beautiful. So see on this chance to win right here, how it's green 6%, and then it's green over on this side 44%. Watch what happens when I click this last team here. Watch how it slides, it turns red, and it goes all the way to 0% for Pop Culture Warrior, aka CQ, and friend of the show of the sports bar here, Mr. Wilson is going to get his first dub as he's put up 120 points, and CQ is under 100. His defense had negative.
Well, I mean, no. Yeah, I mean, CQ. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. But if you look at the Giants defense too, the Giants defense also had -2 on theirs. So I mean, it was kind of a wash between them. But and that's the other thing. If you look at all these teams right here, everybody seems to have not drafted 2 defenses, and I drafted 2 defenses.
Why?
For that specific reason.
Why? That is the absolute craziest thing to me.
Mainly because I wanted to have a couple of the defenses that I know that were going to be a little bit interception happy, and I know that the Bills D was going to come back for this one. And then I looked at, I wanted to see a couple D. My backup D was the one that had the most turnovers last year, so I was hoping to kind of get between the two, and I was all right with what I have. I mean, I'm going to end up picking up somebody and again dropping some people off of my team here anyway because of injuries and all that. So I'll be okay on that. But yeah, I wanted to pick 2 Ds. I did. I wanted to make sure that I was covered and didn't have to have the freaking have the daggone who the hell's the team that got their asses kicked today? I didn't want to have the whatever team. I didn't want to pick up some team over there in the waiver wire and have a shit defense. I didn't want to have a New York Giants defense. How about that? That one's for you, CQ. I didn't want to have the Giants D, which has been turning into Swiss cheese. Got turned into Swiss cheese by the freaking Cardinals of all teams. They don't even have their starting quarterback, and even starting quarterback, he doesn't even want to read the thing. But they nearly, they blew the game out of there. But yeah, I would have ended up being I didn't want to have either one of them, so. I
missed the news that Cam Akers was out, and if I would have caught that, I would have automatically played him in daily fantasy sports because he was pretty cheap. Speaking of daily fantasy sports, I won a little bit of money today, not a lot, but a little bit. All right.
Yeah, and Ambassador Wilson pissed me off because I could have sworn that I put the claim in for Brock Purdy. But he was put it in on the waiver wire, and I could not pick him up. He picked him up right before me, but I'll live with that one.
Nice.
I ended up having Stafford.
That's somebody who follows the sports bar and not WTF Nation Radio, just happens to follow the sports bar Facebook page and asked if or he reached out when he didn't register for our fantasy league in time enough. So I said, you know what? If I could find one other person, I will bump it up from 10 to 12 teams and bring you on. And he has been keeping his team managed. So hey, look, y'all, I said the first year that there is a prize. It's $50 of my own money. The thing about fantasy football that helps is that if you have some skin in the game, it makes you more willing to manage your team over the entire course of an NFL season. I was hesitant about doing one because, like, if people start losing, then they stop caring about managing their team if they didn't put any money in the pot.
That's true.
AKA
That is
any
true.
skin in the game. So I'm hoping to make this fun, keep this up, all right, and have people actively managing their team so I can come on and talk trash about how good I'm going to be. And CQ said, don't enjoy this too much, Smith, because he knows we've talked about history between him and I and how things play out once I started having fun and once he starts sucking at the beginning. Somehow, some way, the fantasy football gods open up Park Clouds, smile upon CQ, and he might start 0-4, but manage to win a freaking championship that year. And he said, don't forget his wager. I forgot what his wager was. I need to go back and look at that show. I need to write it down. I forgot to write it down. Can you remind me of what the wager was, CQ? But one other thing to do before I close this out is if I looked at this right and things work out, I might be the only one undefeated going into week 3. It's nothing.
Well, hey, it all depends tomorrow for me, man. I could be 2-0 tomorrow too. So,
all right, there we go. Hey, write this down. If I don't make the playoffs, I write it down right now.
they'll double the winners.
Will
All right.
double the pot. All right. So, Law, look, manage your team. All right. Because if CQ doesn't make the playoffs, if y'all do enough to keep him out, then it goes from $50 to $100 to the WTF Nation Radio Sports Bar Listener League Fantasy Football. All right. So, man, I have one more story, and I am not sure if I want to do it.
All right.
Let's hold off on this one. I don't think people are going to be like, "Oh, rats, we didn't get to the Kevin Porter story, so boo the sports bar." No, actually, I think that there's still going to be some meat on the bone for this story. So I'm going to hold off on our final story, and we're going to close out on that. There is other stuff that we could have talked about as well, but we have to end the show on time tonight. Coach Prime going into overtime. I didn't stay up for that game. I fell asleep on the game because it was 10 o'clock. No, it was 10:30 on the East Coast when it kicked off. And I'm like, they're going to steamroll them dudes anyway. There is no point in me watching this game. And I woke up and I checked my cell phone, and I'm looking at various different groups that I'm in and the ESPN app notification, and I was like, they went into overtime against Colorado State? What? And I immediately woke up, washed my face, I went and checked out the highlights and said, yo, that's wild that happened. But it goes to show, hey, look, any given Saturday, any given Sunday, you can go out there and get your ass whooped. But imagine the headlines if Colorado would have lost that game. Oh man. Oh, that would have been a way to wake up this morning.
And I think this week now with him being on what's it called? With him being on freaking 60 Minutes, the target's going to be even bigger. Just off of that interview and what we saw during the NFL games, if you were watching CBS at all, it's going to be target's definitely getting a lot bigger. Now he's 3-0 and he's going to be going into conference. So it's time to put the money where the mouth is. And, Deion Sanders is famous for that song that he terribly sang, Must Be the Money. Well, it's time to put that money up right there, Prime. Let's go ahead and do it.
So let's speak on this and then close the show. They've got Oregon coming up, 3:30 Eastern on ABC. Oregon's ranked number 10.
Yep.
Colorado, I think, is 20. No, they're 19th.
Yep.
Do you think realistically, especially after that showing, there's some people saying, oh, they beat up on a yesteryear's TCU. Nebraska ain't really about that life, but they turn around and struggled against Colorado State. How do you think this Oregon game is going to fare out?
Oregon just put up 55 against the University of Hawaii. Blew them out of the water 55-10 this past week. Colorado State, I will give it that it's an in-state rivalry. You know, I mean, it might not be as, glamorous as Florida and Miami, or Florida State and Florida, or Florida State and Miami. Might not even be as good as UNC and NC State, or any of these other ones that you have. I'm going to get out of the, War Eagle, Roll Tide game. But that being said, Oregon's been a team that has always been able to get the best out of their players. Prime has been able to get the players. Now, to get the best out of your players and to get the players on that same level that you have at Oregon, you ain't going to do it this year. I think Colorado is going to be looking at their first loss in play this season. And that's my opinion on that one. And the reason I say that is because they're going to have a struggle. Oregon's fast. Oregon plays and has a system. They're established. Coach Prime, it's your first year. Now pull the rabbit out of your hat and go ahead and freaking, get that team up. Get your son, going. Make sure he's mean mugging everybody like he did this past weekend. But make sure you get that team up, because this is your first "are we for real" test. TCU was off of a down year after losing the national championship. Nebraska has been on the down low. They're not that same Nebraska that we grew up with Tommy Frazier at the quarterback winning the national championships under Tom Osborne. They've been solid, but they haven't been the best. Oregon has been there. They haven't won, but they've always been consistently up there in that Pac-12. This is your test, Dion. I don't think you're going to do it, but it's going to show us a lot about what kind of coach you are next Saturday. And, I wouldn't be surprised. They're 19 in the nation. I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado is in the top 15, just so that they can start saying, well, this is a top 15 showdown between Oregon and Colorado. You know how they like to hype that shit up over there. Come on now.
Yeah.
Don't do that anything. There was a and look, and if you think that it's new that they're doing this, no, it is not a case like that. I remember in '93, the first time that Florida State was going to play at South Bend against Notre Dame. That game at the beginning of the year was noted in every major magazine. Florida State was number one. Notre Dame was not as high ranked as they were by the time that game arrived. They were number one, number two in the nation. Every nationally televised game, they want to bump up that ranking so that they can say it's a top 10 showdown, a top 15 showdown. A little bit of marketing. Don't be surprised if in the AP poll, Colorado moves up to 15.
Okay. You know what? I'm not going to be surprised either. I have two things to add to this. I'm going to show a picture, and then we're going to close the show. David Cunningham said Colorado is going to beat those frat boys. He said fat boys in the chat, but I think he meant frat boys down at USC. I don't know. I'm going to see what the Vegas line says. And
they're not playing USC yet. They're playing Oregon. I don't know. Oregon ain't that fat.
He said, yeah, because I was like, wait, Oregon ain't it? Oregon, I don't think has. See, that threw me off for a second.
I've never seen a fat duck before.
Me neither, Affleck. So that's one thing. And then two, the way that Coach Prime is, I'm going to say, changing the culture around college sports. It is now a whole entertainment venue. Like the NCAA isn't just capitalizing on the entertainment factor of it. Did you see Coach Prime walked out with Lil Wayne rapping? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was on the sidelines, inside of the locker room and stuff as well. They got flashing things popping up all over the stadium and stuff. He created a whole entertainment culture around it, and I'm here for it.
And I'm going to do something I never thought I'd ever do, but I'm about to criticize The Rock, the jabroni beating, pie eating, trailblazing, eyebrow raising, one and only people's champ. I'm about to actually criticize him because Dwayne Johnson played at the U.
Mm-hmm.
Deion Sanders played at FSU.
Mm-hmm.
All right? I get it. It's The Rock. He transcends almost everything. For crying out loud, he played an island in Manoa. All right, he played Maui. For crying out loud, every kid loves him. Every adult wants to be him, and every woman wants to have him inside him. All right, no problem there. I get it. He transcends it. But Bobby Bowden would be spinning in his grave if he knew that Prime, one of his greatest Florida State Seminoles, invited a University of Miami grad to be on the sidelines with him while he was coaching. If you're going to do that, Prime, at least get Ron Simmons, all right? Ron Simmons played, and he had his number retired over there at Doak Walker Stadium. Get somebody from Florida State, my man. I get it, but, The Rock is The Rock. But come on, man.
Yep. I agree, man. I agree. Yep. David Cunningham also said shades in full effect, and that was the other thing that I was going to mention as well. Coach Prime sells, and one of the things that he sells was shades, and apparently the market and the demand for shades skyrocketed over the last week.
Hey, the Rock would at least know his name, unlike the current president right now, and at least know, not to fuck up America like the previous president did.
The thing is that I'm going to say, you know what? Do I want to get into it? We have to keep this brief because I have to go.
All right.
The Rock could run for president and win. The only reason why I don't want that is because it'll be full up idiocracy in real life the moment that happens.
We already have idiocracy over in the government right now.
That's true. But
and I'm not talking about the current president either. I'm just talking about the whole fucking government.
Just in general. Yeah, that's true. Like, as soon as I said it, I was like, I think we're kind of there now. But this would give other countries and people more fodder to say, man, y'all are a real life movie right now over there in the US of A. And I don't want that to happen. All right. I think if he ran, he'd win. And I think that a political strategist might even agree with me. I know nothing about political science at all.
Might be like having Oprah, Oprah being president.
Oh, not after that whole Maui stuff.
And by the way, he was involved on that too. Just remember that.
But people ain't talking about him the same way that they talking about Oprah.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's where America loves you.
Yep. Final thing, CQ said, when is RG3 coming on? So that's a legit thing. Thanks to CQ, which I'm going to show a photo here, and then we are going to close out. So this is your beloved CQ at Pop Culture Warrior Tuesday nights here at WTF Nation Radio with RG3 this past Thursday at an event here locally.
And I know what event that was, you bum. I wonder who the hell paid for you to go there.
And it was mentioned that, hey, RG3, we have this sports show where we come on and talk about sports related news. Would you be willing to come on? Apparently, he's interested. So there's some legwork that has to happen and some things that has to occur. But hey, y'all keep on watching the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio, because we could score an interview with current analyst and former NFL quarterback Robert Griffin III, who has a fantastic X account over there on x.com. That just sounds weird to say.
I still call it Twitter.
Over on Twitter. Right. Go follow
his mama called it Twitter. I'm gonna call it Twitter.
So yeah, there's a chance that we could get RG3 for a couple of minutes for an interview here at WTF Nation Radio. All right.
Yeah.
So that's all that we have for today. Again, we're going to follow up and do the next the last segment that we have today on our next show. We will be back next Sunday here at WTF Nation Radio. Also, be sure to tune into the Sports Bars Facebook page if you aren't following that, as I put up stuff, sports related things throughout the week. Coach does as well. And yeah, we're going to end on that. Coach, I almost am hesitant to give you the last word, but that's what we do over here. You have the last word, Coach. Close us out.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Be watching this next week, and especially 2 weeks from now. That's all,
All
I'm
right.
going to say.
Mark it on your calendars. October the 1st. You have to come back to the Sports Bar, especially if the Jets are 0, meaning 0-4, or sorry, 0-4.
1-3. Come on. That was a great game on Monday after.
Oh, yeah. My bad. 1-3.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. To everybody in the chat, we appreciate y'all popping in as well. If you have not hit that like button, do us a favor, hit that like button for us here at WTF Nation Radio. Coach and I are out.
Peace.